Thanks so much for tuning into the Trade Setup with me, Niraj Shah. Now, here's a very interesting did you know, both about the US markets and our markets. Now, yesterday, on the 176th trading day of 2024, the S&P 500 ended up 17.6%. The nuance is very interesting. For our markets, 30 years ago, yesterday, 30 years ago, Sensex made its all-time high on September 12th, 1994. Yesterday, Sensex made its all-time high as well. And by the way, from these numbers, Sensex has given a compounded annual growth rate of 10% since that year. In fact, from 2004, the number improves dramatically, but 10% over 30 years, in case if you're a statistics fan. But anyways, the US markets had a good day in trade. NASDAQ, Dow, S&P, all of them looked okay. The Dow futures are flattish. Asian screen as we look, mixed bag if you will, but we didn't look at Asia frankly because our markets were on a rock and roller move, and yesterday up right now up about 27 points as well, but we did a ferocious up move in trade yesterday, hitting all-time highs and the participation from FIIs. Now just before we get to that, keep in mind this. The big move yesterday that happened was that the European Central Bank slashed rates again by 25 basis points, marking the second reduction, by the way, in the deposit rate this year, but said that it was not pre-committing to a future path of rates. So this is an important thing to monitor in the session today. ECB said this, our own governor has said that growth looks okay, and a lot of other factors in a conversation that he's had with the wire agency. So that is very interesting too. Other global news flow, S&P 500 notched the fourth straight winning session. US crude rose more than 2% on production disruption in the Gulf of Mexico, and gold hit an all-time high on the Fed cut rate hopes as well. This is, of course, the dollar index, but gold did very well too, so bear that in mind. The big thing of yesterday's trade from my perspective was the fund flow. FIIs put in 7,695 crore rupees, and even if you account for the Honasa deal, which is about 1,700 odd crores, even if you strip that off completely, it's still 6,000 crores worth of buying from the FI side. That showed what banks can do when the foreign money starts coming in. Because I thought, frankly, the FI long-short ratio, in the cash markets they've bought in, even in the futures side, FI's long-short ratio is at 65.52, and they bought about 39,349 index futures, including stock futures being bought as well. So the FI side is looking very committed to some long trades currently, and the banks see the first instance of the FI buying impact. Look at that move on the Nifty Bank, 51772, with a clutch of private sector banks doing well. I'm correlating the FI buying to this. It may not necessarily have been this, but I would presume that this would have been the case. It's very possible now that if indeed there is a bout of outperformance ahead, then large caps will now outperform the SMIDs. We saw that in trade yesterday with large caps or the bank or the Nifty doing about 2%, but the small cap index less than 1%. You very well see that template moving up or continuing. The pocket to watch, by the way, before we get to stocks in news, is jewelry. There is a start of a very long wedding season happening very, very shortly, and analysts are baking in better demand trend on the custom duty cut as well. Now, Citi, for example, is raised Titan's target multiple on account of all of these reasons to 65 times versus 55 times earlier. The stock was up 1.5% yesterday. Yesterday, you also remember Kalyan Jewellers. HSBC raised the target for Kalyan, and the promoter recently bought in the block deal as well. That stock ended up 5% too. So watch out for the jewelry bucket. That is certainly something you want to watch out for. Now to the stocks in news or stocks to watch. Panacea Biotech, US DFC has committed $20 million loan to the company for expansion purposes. This stock could be very active in the session today as well after being up 7% yesterday. HPL Electric has received an order worth 144 crores for the supply of smart meters and conventional meters. Maybe it's active today. HG Infra, which keeps on winning these orders sporadically, has won yet another 716 crore order from Central Railway. Again, could be interesting. Telecom was a buzz yesterday. Jefferies has now put out a note on telecom. They reiterated buy on Bharti Airtel. The target price has been upped to 1917 from 1760. That stock was up 4% yesterday. On Bharti Hexacom, upgrade to Hexacom to a buy. The target price raised to 1600 from 1260. So watch out for both of these in the session today. Watch out for Zomato. Jefferies took Zomato to a US roadshow. They have a buy with the target price of 335. The stock was at 283 yesterday. They see a 23% upside. They say that their analysis was that investors are convinced on management quality given growth and margin performance, and in fact they felt that in select cases there was a FOMO or a feeling of missing out from some investors on the Zomato rally. Well, from 50 odd rupees to 283, there better be a FOMO. Some downsides on SAMIL might be watched out for. Cities added a downside 90-day catalyst watch target of 105, and Investec has downgraded to a hold with a target price of 195. So watch out for this one. ICICI Pru, a lot of talk. Analysts meet, but nothing conclusive. I mean, most people are just flattish on the target prices. So don't be too constructive on this one, maybe from a trade perspective, despite key takeaways looking constructive on the analyst side. And PNB Housing, the last stock on my radar today. GIC and Monetary Authority of Singapore have bought some shares yesterday. Watch out, Morgan Stanley had that bit upgrade too. So you might want to watch out for this stock too. Thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. Have a great day ahead.